Can everyone see that okay? It's fine.
Yes.
I will take it that you can. All right, so who are we? RealTech is a group of PropTech and FinTech experts, and we consider ourselves to be sitting at the intersection of real estate and finance. So at our core, I'm going to introduce Revital, who is our CFO and Chief Operating Officer. And as stated earlier, she's got a long background working in the FinTech space. She is a international global payment processing expert and a true benefit to the company. Myself, I'm a former United States Marine Corps cryptologist, codebreaker. I worked in the drug war intercepting and decoding radio transmissions from Peru and Colombia. Went on to become a serial entrepreneur. The first company that I got involved in was right at the beginning of the PropTech era, when I started working as the vice president of sales for Property Shark, which was one of the original real estate data aggregators. And within 1 year and 10 months, I became the CEO of that company, scaled it out nationwide, and sold it to Yardi Systems. Since that time, I've been the CEO of another company called Urbint, which is a second-generation data aggregation platform that did a pretty sophisticated machine learning and artificial intelligence project with Con Edison. And we were able to help them identify specific properties in New York City that were susceptible to gas explosions. I've been the chief strategy officer of a company called Envelope, which digitized New York City's zoning resolution into a 3D massing engine for English. That is basically turning 4,000 pages of legal documents and turning that into a visualization engine. That was a partnership between Shop Architects and MIT. I'm also a mentor for MetaProp, New York City's largest PropTech VC, and the co-chair of entrepreneurship and innovation for the Queens Chamber of Commerce. So we like to think we bring a good deal of expertise to this space. And so what we have done, so about 3 years ago, I began to have a thesis on the PropTech era, and I felt that there was going to be a convergence between PropTech and FinTech. And when the opportunity came along to join RealTech, I jumped at it. So very simply put, we are literally at the intersection of PropTech and FinTech. So we do rent collection, we do an integration with all the major ERP, including Yardi Systems. We're engagement platforms so that the tenants can engage with their property and communicate seamlessly with their property managers. We provide a branded platform so that our clients, our partners, can either brand the building, the physical asset that they work in, or if they want to brand their company, they can do that. We have no interest in building our brand as stable. We're here to provide services to the industry, and I take that very strongly. It's one of the things that I really benefit about, really enjoy about working with RealTech. We have a very nice, very simple landlord portal, so you can gain insights to your tenants. And we're very flexible in how we accept payments. We do credit and debit and ACH. We have some offline capabilities. We're also very soon going to be offering the ability to take a picture of your check and submit that as payment as well. So as we said, we have a lockbox in case people are still offline. And here's my thought process. So right now, I would say over 50% of tenants are still paying their rent in a physical payment. And I believe in the next 10 years, that's going to go down to zero, or they're very close to it. As I stated earlier, we are integrated with the major building management systems. And this is not to be taken lightly. This integration is heavy, and this is one of the core assets of this company. And as I will state later when I make a little bit of announcement, this integration was critical for us gaining a major client and the first in our industry. So how do we make money? We make our money on payment processing. We charge 99-cent flat rate for ACH, 1% for debit, and 2.8 for credit. And that is our current standing right now. Our short to midterm range is we're going to start providing credit lines and credit products, financial products to tenants and owners. And our long-term vision is a complete data analytics platform. And this is dear to me. Obviously, I come from a data background with Property Shark. I'm all about the data, and my background was in publicly available data. What we're talking about here is not publicly available data, and of course we are GDPR compliant. We need to anonymize the data, but we can provide massive insights to the industry, both financial and real estate. So some of the credit line products that are coming up right now, we're going to be doing rent advances through a product called Flex, and we're going to be looking at deposit alternatives. This is a very interesting space, and I also believe that the current political climate is such that this may be mandated, where property owners, property managers are going to be forced to provide deposit alternatives to lower barriers to entry for potential tenants and residents of different communities. As you can imagine, with all of the insights and data that we should be able to garner from our platform, we're going to be well positioned to provide financing and understand and underwriting capabilities for individual assets that we're working with. And so obviously it would be wonderful to work with financial partners to provide that financing. Again, the long-term vision for us is the data that comes off of this platform. We should be able to provide financial insights, behavioral analytics, demographic data. We're currently working with a company right now through a partnership for geofencing to understand behavioral aspects of different tenants and where they work, where they want to live. All of these insights combined are going to be incredibly interesting in the future. Again, this is I would say a 3 to 5 year time horizon for when we start executing on this level. And so some of our clients, and I would like to point out at the bottom of this screen, I am about to announce the first relationship with the Department of Housing and Urban Development. And this is almost directly due to the COVID crisis that we've experienced. The Department of Housing and Urban Development has decided that they're no longer comfortable receiving physical checks. And it looks like Rentigo has the inside track to becoming the first digital payment processor for HUD. And it looks like the first county that's going to go up is going to be Kern County, California, which is the Bakersfield area. And this is super exciting to us because we are expecting to double the size of our volume over the next quarter, over the next 90 days. And we're looking to 10x the company in the next 12 to 18 months. And so right now we are capable of operations within 50 states. We've got very significant building population. And one of the most important data points here is that our current clients have well over 100,000 units right now. Of course, we need to execute. This is all about execution on our side, making sure that we are raising enough capital, developing. Our development team is based out of Israel. And we need to make sure that we build that and make it robust, make our iterations faster. And we need to really ramp this up. And that being said, you know, we are currently completing our seed round right now. We're looking for a couple of strategic investors to come in at this moment. We're planning on closing this round within the next 30 days. If there's anybody out there that's interested in learning more, this is how you contact me, Bill Staniford. You can text me right there at 212-734-0634. bill@rentigo.com, and I'm very responsive on LinkedIn. So, you know, anyone out there that would like to learn more about Rentigo, thinks that they can help in any way, we're a very aggressive, smart, fast-moving team. And again, thank you to Noah, thank you to Charlie, and I appreciate the time.
Thank you so much, Bill. The next company to present will be Coversea. Daron Cohen is going to present. Coversea developed the technology to automate the entire process of real estate investment syndications for the sponsors, the GPs, and their investors, the LPs. and allows the LPs greater visibility of the investment life cycles management. I'm happy to present Doron Cohen, the CEO of CoverC. Doron, please.
Hi, everyone. Okay, so thank you, Noah. It's really good to be here. I wish it could be physically in New York. So just a quick way of introduction. At CoverC, we bring simplicity and trust to commercial real estate investment, GPs and LPs, the general partners, the owners of the assets.
Doron, I'm not sure you want us to see the comments, so maybe we're happy to, but perhaps hide them. Okay.
Sorry about that. 1 second.
No worries.
Let's see if does it work better now?
Yeah, wonderful. Keep going.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Great. Sorry about that. So we target the 8 million accredited investors, the 60 million accredited investors in the US, the 50,000 GPs, the owners, and they serve the 8.6 million investor-owned commercial real estate assets. If you kind of think about our market, the typical story is the GP raises capital from a syndicate of investors or creates a fund with multiple investors, and then they acquire real estate assets. They will hold them for anything between 1 to 10 years, add value by renovating, replacing tenants, etc. Distribute capital back to LPs. At the end of the whole period, we'll sell the assets, get capital back to the LPs. It's a huge market, and it works just as it did in the 90s. So just by introduce myself, my name is Doron Cohen, and before I founded CoverC, I did 2 things. I was a programmer in the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces, nearly 6 years. And from there, I went to build my first startup, which is called Leverate. We grew from a team of 4 to 150 employees, $16 million of revenues, offices in 5 countries, and basically sold the business. So the problems in our industry, on the GP side and the LP side, we serve both basically. On the GP side, they have a really limited access to fundraising networks. They end up raising capital from their friends of friends. Remember, we target the small to mid-market GPs, not the Blackstones, but basically the other 93%. So it's really hard for them to find new LPs. They use spreadsheets, and it really doesn't scale. The more LPs and the more assets you have, the more spreadsheets you need, and the more manual, and the business is really manual, really hard to create scale that way. On the LP side, similar but different, finding qualified deals and GPs, it really works because somebody introduced me, but with 0 data. And last but not least is, if you look at your Charles Schwab account, you can see your investments in Google, Facebook, Amazon, whatever you have. You can compare them despite them being very different companies. But if you own a piece of 2 buildings down in Manhattan, there's no single platform to basically view those assets together. You literally get every quarter PDFs from different GPs of the performance of the assets. Nothing is comparable. So at CoverC, we really focus on simplifying things that everybody, for some reason, keep complicating. On the left side, you can see our platform for GPs. It takes a few very complex processes and makes them extremely simplified. It helps GPs fundraise, communicate with investors, and administer investments. At the same time, it is linked to our payment platform, which I'll talk about in a second, but that helps the GPs trigger and control the capital calls and the distributions. On the LP side, it may sound trivial, but in this industry, it is not. It is the only platform to which it is easy to sign up. Literally a Google or a Facebook login button, 1 click, and you're there. If you want to compare other platforms, well, fill out 20, 40 fields before you can even access your asset. Create different accounts with different GPs for different assets. It's really complex. We really simplified it. It has all of your investment data in one location. The documents, the performance data, the information on the deal itself. It is the only one that works across GPs, meaning you can get your information from all the GPs you've invested with into a single location. And of course, it has payments integrated. Okay, so how we got here, I think, is a pretty interesting story. We've been around for almost 5 years. In our early days, we started as a payment platform, enabling people and businesses to send money between countries and currencies. But as we kind of grew, we learned that our most interesting customers are actually investors in real estate, funding their LP stakes in GP-led transactions, which eventually brought us to relationships with GPs. And from that, we became a full platform to serve the GPs and the LPs in the industry. Today, we serve 85 GPs, 4,500 LPs, and have over $3 million in annual revenues. Let's look at the product. So this is how we make fundraising very simple. It starts with a dashboard. Where do I stand in my investment process? Then I can start adding investors to view an asset. And for each investor, I can literally see the story of that investor, where we are with that investor. Have they seen the digital deck that we shared with that investor that we've automatically created for the investors? Did they reply? How much they want to invest? When did they look at it? Everything in a single location. Collect e-signatures, ask for capital, close the deal from a single platform. Then, once we bought the asset, how do we manage the deal now? So it's a single location from which you can report back to investors, share documents like a mini Dropbox within the platform, hold capital, and then distribute more capital. And if we want to look how we simplify even capital distributions, then it is basically the only platform that takes a really long process and turns it into a few clicks. You can automatically basically create a new distribution, specify how much investors get. They get auto distribution notices to their mailbox. They can track everything from their investor portal. They can even fund the distribution using our payment platform, so they only make a single large transaction, and we get all the money to the LPs, to their account. Everyone can trace everything, really transparent. And we're most proud of our investor portal because it's really simple. You can see here, these are my investments, the GPs I've invested with, the assets I currently hold. I can go from there and see the details of each investment, see how nice it looks. Details on information about that investment, the capital transactions we've had, the documents that were shared with me, performance data in a comparable structured data format were, much better than those boring PDFs that GPs would otherwise send their LPs. And I was asked to say what we're seeing in the COVID-19 days. So I think we're at a very interesting spot in that sense. Between March and April, we actually saw an almost complete freeze of new investments in real estate. It's just absolutely crazy. Just in a few weeks, a complete freeze of the market. And then we saw GPs entering distress mode. They had to take care of their assets with tenants who may be not paying on time and starting to look for new opportunities. And then since mid-April, we're actually witnessing an ever-increasing and accelerating pace of new investments into real estate because the new opportunities are now in the market. They're entering the market. So we see all kinds of new strategies that GPs haven't deployed for a while, such as acquiring distressed assets, such as buying office spaces and turning them into residential spaces. So these are super, super interesting times for us. And in fact, when we entered the COVID crisis, we kind of thought that, no one's going to buy now. We shouldn't even try to sell to any GP at this point. But it ended up that the reality was that the GPs were so much want to be protective of their LP relationships that we ended up signing up our record number of customers in the last 60 days alone, just because we could help them get in a better relationship with an LP in days in which they cannot meet the LP.
Dawn, we have another minute. If you can wrap up, please. Thank you.
I'll use 30 seconds.
Okay, that's
so
it.
if you want to check the platform, you can literally go to our website, sign up online, play with it. Feel free. If you want to contact us, then this is my email. And also Miki, our head of US sales, is going to text here now his own email address. Feel free to reach out. If you're interested in being a customer, that's how you do it. If you're interested to participate in a round that we're just about to close this month, feel free to reach me too.
Okay.
So have a great day, and thank you, Noah.
Thank you so much, Doron. Cinch, the next startup to present, developed an app for local neighborhood businesses. The app enables the businesses to customize offers to local customers and overall to create a personalized neighborhood experience and a smart payment platform for neighborhoods and local businesses. Maya Komarov is the CEO of Cinch. Maya, please join us. The stage is yours.
Thank you, Noah. Hi, everybody. I'll share my screen here. Can you see my screen? Perfect. So thank you, everybody, for the opportunity to be here today. My name is Maya, and I'm the founder of Cinch. Cinch is my second company. Before Cinch, I built the business for Salesforce.com in Israel. Today, I want to speak with you about a very important topic. How can we jumpstart the return of neighborhood businesses? This is actually the topic that Cinch is working on in the last few months since March. So in the last few months, we have experienced how our relationship with Amazon and other big boxes become closer. Actually, even when they don't have delivery slots for us. It's not because we want that a close relationship with them. It's because they provide us the experience that we expect to get. We want actually to go to one place to buy everything with minimum time spending and free delivery. We want to come to the everything store to buy food for the dog and on the way to buy something for the kids. The reality is that today we cannot get this type of experience that we want from neighborhood businesses that we really love. What they want us to do, they ask us to go to different websites, order a few times. You know, if we want to order from the wine store and we want to order something from the pet store, we go to each site, we order and pay delivery separately. So we find ourselves again with Amazon and the big boxes because this is the only place that we can get the everything store experience. In the last 2 years, we built relationships with 500 businesses and tens of thousands of consumers around New York. We are building a neighborhood services to connect neighbors and businesses. And the local store can also bring everything store experience if we can help them to operate together and not in silos as they work today. If we give them the technology to leverage their proximity because they don't have the last mile issue and help them to know their neighbors via data. With COVID not going away anytime soon, the new reality is that every business needs low touch sales and fulfillment for its customers. So welcome to the world of the better box. So Cinch Market is your neighborhood everything store delivered in one box, same day. And all the products on the Cinch Market fulfilled by neighborhood stores. This service is available today in 8 neighborhoods in Brooklyn and from July in Uptown Manhattan. So let's see a short video to learn how it works.
So I just got my first order from Cinch. I ordered a few things from local shops in my area. It all comes in one package, delivered to me in 24 hours or less. It's great to support local shops and get delivery to my door. Cheers.
Statement is something that I learned from our real estate partners like Silverstein, Building Links, and others. Increased local spending translates to a healthier neighborhood and a more desirable location. I was surprised when they told me that this is a great amenity that they want to offer to their tenants, and Tal also spoke a lot about it earlier. It's not just that, it also helps the property managers with operation as we consolidate packages from few stores into one. So less packages, less deliveries, less space, less exposure, and less management. We know that less is more today. So before we go, I want you to think about these interesting questions. What are neighbors for? Actually, this is the question that lead our mission and our activities in the communities. And for those that are interested in participating, we have $500,000 available on our current round. Thank you, everybody, and I will leave my details on the chat.
Okay, thank you so much, Maya. Rox Financial is our last but not least company to present. Rox created a New York Stock Exchange NASDAQ listed security of single property commercial real estate, and is aiming to bring accessibility, transparency, and liquidity to the single property commercial real estate segment. Anthony Morrow is the president of Rox Financial, and he will be presenting the company. Anthony, please.
Hi guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. It's a place where you're not moving quickly, you're not adjusting your business, it will accelerate your demise. And when City Hive changed and really put effort to help the small businesses, they were working 24/7 on phone calls. Their business flew to the roof. Their revenue grew up exponentially, and in the matter of 2 months, they've done something they didn't expect to do in the next 2 or 3 years. They became profitable very quickly. That's another example. Maya here described how Cinch stepped up their game to help small communities with aggregating payments, and they've done already work with communities, but this helped them find another niche and another product and another line that is really necessary to help not just with cost of delivery, but also with fewer people touching every product, because I feel more comfortable when all these deliveries, which I need for my neighborhood, are not touched by 10 different people. One of them may have COVID. I'd rather have one person, and I'd rather that one person putting gloves and a mask on. It's much easier to monitor and maintain. So I'm not going to go through 27 companies, but we have example after example that when we challenged the CEOs, and Charlie and Larry Wagenberg did a terrific job, every week we are sitting with them constantly on Zoom meetings. We having called it happy hour, that they join the Zoom meeting. We can't hand them nuts like Charlie always gives them nuts and food. We can't do that via Zoom, but they come with their own food. And we asked them, so what have you done today to help people with the COVID situation? What have you done? What have you been thinking about how the world would look 5 years from now or 2 years from now? And did you adjust your business line? Did you do something differently? That question by itself makes people stop and pause. Not do everything they did before just again, but change a little bit of what they do, or sometimes a lot of what they do, and capture the opportunity and really help people, really take it to the next level. The last company, which was just announced yesterday, they've been working like dogs, I believe, is called Dojo. I like the name because I've been training in a dojo and in martial arts. And Dojo developed a technology that helps people optimize the way they sit in the floor and the way people work from home. So you can go in, and we are now using it for all of our tenants to come back to the workplace, where they say, so who should work from home and how do they connect and who should be moved in the office, because we don't want people too close. This platform is doing it automatically, data-driven, scientific, with a lot of what is called deep learning, a category in artificial intelligence, and it creates thousands of layouts of every floor. You cannot do it manually. We tried, it's just not feasible. And when someone wants to come back to work, they ask us the question. Dojo came and solved that problem. I know that they worked on this for a few years, but that component that was originally designed to help people optimize and decide who works from home, how many days a week you work from home, how many days from the office, how to optimize the use of a floor plan, became so urgent that they accelerated their development, added features, like a feature which is called backtrack, that when someone reports in your company that they call the next morning, they say, hey, I have COVID. I think I have it. I lost my sense of smell, which happened to someone in our company. Immediately you push a button, backtrack, runs back on the history of all their meetings, who did they sit close to, how much time they spent with every person in a meeting, connects it to the turnstile information to see if the person was really in the building or doing the meeting over the phone, and then gives you a heat map of who should not come tomorrow. Just ask them to stay at home. It's keeping privacy. It doesn't tell them, oh, Joe was sick, but it says you've been close to someone 6-7 hours in the last week. Please stay at home. And we ran it on ourselves. Immediately, our head of technology said, oh, I'm not coming to the office because the technology tells me not to. I'm going to work on Zoom. And that even before there was a shutdown in New York back in March, Yael, who is our CIO, decided to stay at home. So that's another example of a technology. We immediately saw the necessity. We decided to pay a license fee for our tenants because we think it's important. And we negotiated, I think, a favorable deal because we have a significant number of tenants. And now all the tenants say, how do I come back to work? We show them this and say, okay, I need to implement it tomorrow. I can only imagine what that would do in the future when they really can learn the benefits of using something like this to optimize the business, because many companies will have a combination of working from home, from the office, people coming 3-4 days a week, not every day in a week, benefiting from less traffic. I think it's the new world, and it's how our world should adjust and will adjust into the reality. And many of our companies actually after this said, I need more space, or some companies said, I need more flexible space. It's interesting to see how platforms like this can help them think faster.
Thank you, Tal. And we have a question for Rox, for Anthony. With EPF, what are the ownership implications? Can an individual perform a takeover of an asset through the market? And what will be the liability of the new landlords?
Awfully detailed questions, and I can certainly get into them privately. But in general, we use a structure called a series limited partnership that has elements of a REIT, elements of an MLP, and some new stuff that we came up with, believe it or not. So ROX, importantly, is the SEC registered issuer. Within our structure, we have several single asset REITs for all intents. And within that is each property agreement. So it's a very detailed question. I'm very happy to answer it offline, I think is probably the best way to attack it. So I see that comment and I will respond to you directly.
Okay. We have another question for Tal. That's probably going to be the last question. Tal, we have a lot of real estate people here on Zoom. And in a nutshell, as much as you can do it in a nutshell, what's your estimation as to the real estate market in the US and specifically in New York, under COVID-19, post COVID-19? It's a big question, I know, but we have 3-4 minutes to cover this.
Okay, I'll try. I'll do my best. I'll start by saying, when you sometimes ask Larry, how are you doing? Tell me quickly, tell me in one word, he would say, good. If you say, then tell me in 2 words, he said, not good. And if you say, tell me in 3 words, he would say, not so good. It really depends. You can take it long or short, but we are actually doing very well. I think the question is like saying, what will be with stocks in the world? There are some winners and some losers. It's a lot about how you operate. It's a lot about the asset class. It's a lot about risk taking and risk mitigation, type of tenants. You are as good as your tenants. That's why we always focus on getting credit tenants, focusing on the type of credit, not on the amount they pay. So instead of taking the highest rents we can in every building, in every neighborhood, we focus on taking less rent with better tenants. When we have a line of tenants asking for the same space, and we are on purpose aiming to be a little lower than the market in every place, we give ourselves the flexibility to pick the stronger tenants with stronger balance sheet. That gave us an incredible strength, I think now, and it's a philosophy that Larry carried. If you're asking what will happen across the country, everybody likes the anxiety. Media likes to emphasize bad things, which is normal. The fight or flight mechanism works with everyone, and it attracts more clicks on the internet, more video watching on TV or on YouTube. And there will be, again, winners, there will be losers, there will be asset classes that are better. I think there is a consensus saying that the asset class of retail will suffer in at least the short term, and is suffering, because if you'll see companies going bankrupt because they don't have enough foot traffic, or they did not manage cash well, or they took too much debt, that area of retail will suffer. Is retail going to die? I don't believe so. I believe that there are going to be many opportunities. Are multifamily exciting? It depends where. There are some places where the public is trying to push in a certain direction, and it may affect the ability of growth of revenues. But long term, as long as the population comes back to the workplace, and as long as people work hard and do their job, the economy comes back roaring. And we see that again and again. This is not the first pandemic in the last couple hundred years. This is the sixth. And after every one of the pandemics before, maybe this one is different, but after every one before, the economy rallied back and became stronger. At Silverstein, we have one benefit. We have operations globally. We have partners that we believe and we spend a lot of time with. Like one of them is the largest landlord in China. Over there, they have over 95% of the people back to the workplace and working. Many of them everybody's wearing a mask. So that gives a lot of good protection. Basically, mask today is the best protection from COVID. And that affects the entire environment. Does it mean that everybody shops at the same extent as before? No, but it's growing. So you see the graph of growth, and it will reach that place. So in short, my answer cannot be accurate. You will always find a location where it's going to be great and a location where it's going to be terrible. I think you and everybody on this call, including us, you have to focus on the right people, the right business opportunities, the right managers. If you have experts and professionals, you'll do well. And if you're going to bet on the next gamble and the next story, or someone packaging a deal to you and saying, this is a great deal, and I've seen this over and over, there are some opportunities we've looked at, and they just repackage it and they call us now and say, look at the opportunity. And I said, no, you're telling me that I can buy it for 30 cents on the dollar, but I think it's worth zero because someone is going to foreclose on it in 2 months. So it's not going to work. If you do your job and your due diligence, you'll succeed. There is a great opportunity now. And if you don't, God bless you. Good luck. I hope this was a good enough answer.
Yeah, so in this note, I would like to thank Yutal and the wonderful team at Silvertech, Charlie Fetterman, especially for helping us and partnering with us on this event. Thank you, Doron, Maya, Anthony, and Bill for the wonderful presentations. And thank you, everybody, for joining us, for joining IDB Bank today. I would like to wish all of you good luck and all the best.
Thank you, Noah. Thank you, Ziv, and everybody.